The man never imagined he'd be offered up as a sacrifice to the divine dragon. Yet after being swallowed whole, he didn't die. Instead, his bloodline became completely bound to the dragon's HP bar. From that moment, every ounce of pain and every wound he suffered was perfectly mirrored onto the divine dragon. As long as the dragon remained alive, he could revive endlessly. But that connection made the dragon, now in human form, live in unbearable agony. Whether bathing or fishing in peace, blood would suddenly gush from his 7 orifices. To lessen the shared torment, the divine dragon tossed Black Xin a manual titled Future Sight Arts. As the name suggested, no matter the martial art or skill, if Black Xin merely laid eyes on it, he could pre-use it instantly, a move others spent 3 years to master. He grasped in a single glance. Its power was even stronger than before. As it turned out, the man was the last descendant of an ancient cultivation clan, but due to his poor talent, he had never awakened his spiritual root. His girlfriend of 3 months had long grown tired of him. One day, she even dumped him publicly in front of the entire company. When the department manager, Zhang Jiqian, heard about it, he suddenly changed his usual harsh demeanor. Carrying a few cans of soda, he found Black Xin brooding alone on the rooftop. Black Xin thought his manager was just a sharp-tongued but soft-hearted guy. Yet after a few sips, his head spun violently. The next second, everything went dark. When he opened his eyes again, his hands were tightly bound by iron chains. It wasn't that the manager had some twisted hobby. It was because within Black Xion's body lay an ancient spiritual root, a perfect offering to the divine dragon. As a reward, the divine dragon granted the manager a massive refining pill, Ningxin Dan, for cultivation. The dragon's deep voice echoed, "Human, any last word before you die?" Black Xin simply exhaled and muttered, "Your breath stinks. Maybe brush your teeth before you eat me?" Infuriated, the divine dragon bit down hard, choosing to chew slowly, savoring his punishment. The unbearable agony twisted Black Xion's face as his body convulsed on the ground. Yet at that very brink of death, his desperate will to live triggered the awakening of his ancient bloodline. He instinctively activated a forbidden technique, Curse of Life and Death, Shengxi Tong Zhou, a twin curse linking 2 souls. The caster becomes the life-marked host, and the target becomes the death-marked host. Every bit of damage taken by the life-marked host is mirrored perfectly onto the death-marked one. And as long as the death-marked host lives, the life-marked host can never truly die. The second forbidden art was called Dual Oblivion. Once activated, both the life-marked and death-marked hosts would perish together. No revival possible unless a top-tier external immortal spell intervened. After reading all the data about the curse, Black Xin was instantly teleported back to the classroom. Before he could even figure out what was happening, a heavy foot slammed down onto his desk. The school tyrant, Zhang Jibai, glared down at him and threatened, "Every week, you'll tribute me your resources. Otherwise, I'll hang you from the power pole for everyone to see." Then he sneered, "Let me show you how to go downstairs at light speed." But Black Xin wasn't the type to play along. He drove his elbow straight into Zhang Jibai's heel. The bully went flying off the 6th floor. His head hit the ground with a thunderous crash, leaving a crater behind. The other students just sighed. If Zhang Jibai had actually died, their class rankings would have gone up a spot. Unfortunately for them, Zhang Jibai practiced the steel-forged body technique, and that fall wasn't nearly enough to hurt him. Not long after, Zhang Jibai climbed out of the crater and shouted upstairs, "Don't run after class. I'll snap your legs myself." Green-haired classmate whispered to Black Xin, telling him to make a run for it after school. Zhang Jibai was infamous as the school tyrant, born rich, backed by power. The last student who crossed him already had grass 2 meters tall over his grave. After class, the bully and 2 lackeys hid in an alley, waiting to ambush Black Xin. But Black Xin wasn't intimidated. He went straight to confront them. His calm expression and steady eyes showed not a trace of fear. For the first time, Zhang Jibai felt uneasy. Could this guy be one of those hidden experts pretending to be weak? You bunch of cowards, 5 guys, and not one will show up at the school gate? I came all this way for nothing. Come on, hit me. Black Xian taunted. Provoked, the long-haired guy lunged forward and launched a kick. The strike that should have been lethal only sent Black Xian crashing to the ground. The long-haired guy sneered as he advanced. You're trash. Who are you trying to impress? That was a level 5 body refinement kick. Your organs are shredded. You won't last long. Black Xian merely shrugged, unfazed. No strength in your hits, and you still pretend to be a gangster? The long-haired guy snapped. You're still playing dead? I'll split your skull right now. He raised his leg for a brutal stomp, but with a sickening crack, his heavy kick missed clean. The bald thug looked up. A severed leg sailed overhead, and cold sweat poured down his face as he froze. The long-haired guy let out a raw, pained scream, lost his balance, and collapsed rolling on the ground. In a flash, a white-haired, red-eyed girl appeared right in front of Black Xian. The bald thug reacted instantly, grabbing his cursed relic and unleashing a killing move aimed straight at her head. The blast wave was so strong it nearly collapsed the nearby apartment blocks. When the smoke finally cleared, both men stood frozen, jaws hanging open. The girl hadn't moved an inch. She'd taken the full attack head-on. Not only was she unharmed, but she instantly cast a barrier field, protecting every nearby structure. Zhang Jibai's instinct screamed. This was no ordinary being. He shouted for the bald thug to retreat. But before he could finish, the man exploded where he stood. Terrified, Zhang Jibai collapsed to the ground, wanting to flee but unable to move his legs. The truth was this white-haired, red-eyed girl was none other than the divine dragon herself. Moments ago, she had been relaxing in the celestial palace, sipping tea and playing chess. But out of nowhere, her body began bleeding uncontrollably. Using her divine sense, she discovered a death mark etched on her hand, a curse so powerful that even her godly arts couldn't remove it. So she had no choice but to descend to the human realm and confront Black Xian herself. Yet Black Xian just shrugged and said he really didn't know how to break it. The dragon girl's crimson eyes flared with rage. She grabbed Black Xian and smashed him into the ground over and over. 2.5 minutes later, the dragon girl coughed up blood. Because their damage was synchronized, the more she hit him, the worse she hurt herself. Realizing this couldn't go on, she decided to return to the celestial palace and research a way to undo the curse. But Black Xian stopped her midair. Last time you ate me, remember? Isn't it fair I get some compensation? The dragon girl's tone turned icy. And if I refuse? Black Xian grinned wickedly. Then I'll jump into a sulfuric acid pool and keep respawning till you bleed out with me. To stop his madness, the dragon girl reluctantly handed him another copy of the Future Sight Arts. It wouldn't make him immortal, but it might just be enough to ace college and live comfortably. Meanwhile, Zhang Jibai was still trembling in the corner, his forehead pressed against the wall, barely daring to breathe. To the dragon girl, such an insect wasn't even worth killing. With a flick of her hand, she erased every memory he had of today. When Black Xian came to his senses, it was already the next morning. The body refinement instructor was explaining the rules for the penetration power test. On the track, over a dozen 1-meter-thick reinforced concrete walls would rise up. Whether chi practitioners or body refiners, breaking through even one wall meant passing. Those with the lowest scores would be considered for expulsion. The first to take the test was the school bully, Zhang Jibai. Grabbing a javelin, he hurled it forward with a roar. Bang, bang, bang. The javelin pierced through 5 reinforced walls in a row. That result easily placed him among the top-tier body cultivators. After all, most academy students could barely break through 3. Coincidentally, the next one up was Black Xian. The instructor clearly didn't expect much. If he failed, expulsion was guaranteed. But Black Xin wasn't nervous. These people were just physical and chi trainees. He was a cultivator. Right there, he activated the pre-cast technique, Dark Nether Palm Thunder. Seeing him walk up empty-handed, the teacher sneered, "Coming up barehanded? You planning to sculpt the javelin from thin air? Or are you a void creation prodigy now?" Laughter erupted across the field. Black Xin calmly raised his hand, a dark red sphere of lightning forming in his palm. In the next instant, he hurled it forward. Boom! 15 reinforced walls were obliterated in under a second. The body refinement instructor stood frozen, jaw slack. Even more shocking, the thunderball didn't stop there. It kept surging forward until it finally slammed into the testing arena's protective barrier, dispersing in a flash of crimson sparks. The instructor finally exhaled in relief. Thank the heavens those reinforced walls had weakened the dark nether palm thunder. If it had blasted beyond the barrier, someone could have died. Even so, Black Xion's result shattered the school's all-time record. Whispers spread fast. Some said he was a once-in-a-generation genius. Others that he must be the blood descendant of a great sect. Yet the moment school ended, Black Xion sprinted home at full speed. Because that precast technique came with a nasty side effect. If he didn't finish training the corresponding skill within the set time limit, his cultivation would be deducted, and even his bloodline seal could destabilize. He'd owned the Dark Nether Palm Thunder manual once before, but somehow it had vanished. With no other choice, he spent another 200,000 credits on a digital copy. Then he headed to the mountain behind his house and began training nonstop. After 6 grueling hours of continuous practice, he finally caught up on all missed cultivation progress with 30 seconds to spare. Just as Black Xion smiled in triumph, his heart gave a loud thud and stopped beating. Turns out, he had overtrained himself to death. Thankfully, Black Xion could revive infinitely. The only one truly suffering was the Dragon King in the heavens. She had just finished bathing when her body once again burst into random bleeding. The next morning marked the start of the second exam. This one tested Palm's strength and endurance. Basically, a slap duel. Whoever fell first lost. Unfortunately, that was Zhang Zhibai's specialty. His steel-forged body technique was said to be unbeatable among his peers. Even Zhao Yikai, the class's top palm striker, couldn't knock him down with his full-force steel-breaking palm. Instead, Zhao Yikai was the one knocked out cold with a single counter slap. In this world, cultivation techniques were divided into 2 categories: open source arts and patent arts. Zhao Yikai's steel-breaking palm was open source. Anyone could practice it. But Zhang Zhibai's steel-forged body technique was a patented art. Ordinary people who wanted to train, it had to apply through the Cultivation Patent Bureau. Unauthorized practice could lead to prosecution, or worse, extermination of the entire bloodline. Soon, it was Black Xion's turn to take the test. But he calmly said, "No need for turns. Let's just hit each other straight in the face." Then he precast the steel-breaking palm. Confident, Zhang Zhibai met him head-on, only for Black Xion to suddenly switch his move mid-strike. In the next instant, Zhang Zhibai was sent flying by a single slap, embedding deep into the wall. Even the field's repair mages couldn't pry him out. The entire audience stared, speechless. The body refinement instructor stood frozen, eyes wide. But he quickly realized what had happened. Black Xion had layered steel-forged body over his steel-breaking palm. And that was insane. The Zhang clan's steel-forged body technique wasn't just a patented art with a brutal training threshold. Stealing or replicating, it could literally get your entire bloodline wiped out. Was this kid not afraid of death? The teacher's demeanor instantly changed. With a fawning smile, he bowed slightly. "Excuse me, may I ask, who is your master?" Black Xion leaned close and whispered 3 words into his ear: "The Dragon King." Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Zhang Ziqian, Zhang Zhibai's older brother, was staring at Black Xion's photo. He muttered to himself, "So the brat's still alive? Could that brutal Dragon King have spared him?" Upon learning that the next school exam would involve poison crafting and toxin analysis, an evil idea began to take root in his mind. Completely unaware, Black Xian was at the junkyard, happily slapping old car parts. Training his technique while earning a few bucks, life couldn't get any better. Still, to fully synchronize the cultivation progress, he needed to be beaten 20 more times. Just then, a hitman walked up and said coldly, "Your Black X all right?" "Young Master Zhang sent me to teach you a lesson." Black Xian's grin widened. "Oh, perfect timing. Go ahead and hit me. I was just worrying I wouldn't finish my task." Seeing that Black Xian, who had just entered the spirit induction realm, showed not a trace of fear toward his own ninth layer cultivation, the assassin felt a bead of cold sweat slide down his temple. Testing the waters, he threw a casual punch. Black Xian was sent flying 2.5 meters back. "So that's all you've got? Weakling. One punch and you're down," the assassin sneered. Then he unleashed a flurry of quick combo strikes. Yet no matter how many times he hit, that creepy grin never left Black Xian's face. Uneasy, the assassin launched his ultimate move, 3 fatal punches in a single second. He thought that would finish it once and for all, but in the very next instant, Black Xian resurrected at full health, standing up as if nothing happened. The assassin's pupils widened in shock. Even top-tier healers of the spear induction realm couldn't regenerate that fast. Panicking, he moved in to deliver the final blow, unaware that this last strike had completed Black Xian's steel-forged body cultivation progress. Mission accomplished, Black Xian countered, first feinting with a palm thunder. Then, as the assassin lowered his guard, he stacked steel-breaking palm with steel-forged body and struck straight into the man's abdomen. The assassin flew backward like a rag doll, crashing through 3 trees before finally stopping. His meridians were shredded. He could only force his chi to stabilize his wounds. Suddenly, the assassin's face began to glow red. Looking down, he realized the palm thunder was still in his hand. No matter how he tried to shake it off, it wouldn't budge. A split second later, boom! The explosion swallowed him whole. All that remained was a single pair of sunglasses. Black Xian picked them up and put them on, discovering they were a spiritual artifact that enhanced dynamic vision, perfect for tracking fast-moving enemies. The next morning, the 3rd round of exams began: alchemy, toxin creation, and analysis. The test required each student to identify poisons and antidotes. On every desk sat several sample vials. The rule was simple: eat every non-toxic one and identify the single toxic sample before time ran out. Bonus points were given for correctly naming the poison. Zhang Jibai smirked. He'd already arranged for someone to lace all of Black Xian samples with real poison, meaning no matter which one he ate, he'd die for sure. But Black Xian, unfazed by death, simply ate them all at once. As expected, he dropped dead on the spot. The proctor panicked. Those poisons were supposed to be safe. Even if ingested in full, they should have only caused brief unconsciousness. Just as she wondered who had tampered with the samples, Black Xian suddenly resurrected at full health. He calmly listed the names of every poison used, earning a perfect score. The bully broke into a cold sweat. He'd even hired a master acupuncturist poisoner to make absolutely sure the poison would kill. He couldn't fathom how Black Xian had survived. After the exam, Black Xian raced to the library. He bought a copy of Guide to the Condensation Realm, prepping to break into the Condensation Realm. The book stated plainly, to assault condensation, you must reach level 10 in either chi cultivation or body refinement. During the breakthrough, ambient chi runs rampant inside the body and can shred the flesh. Large quantities of condensation pills are required as support. To get those pills, Black Xian stormed the Zhang estate, settling both new and old scores at once. He silently eliminated every guard on the upper floors. Then he crept onto the roof, found the perfect spot, and fired a dark nether palm thunder to blow through 2 ceilings. Dropping down with a blade in hand, He drove the knife clean through Zhang Zhibai's shoulder. Unfortunately, he missed the lethal point, leaving Zhang Zhibai an opening to fight back. Gritting his teeth through the pain, Zhang forced out a palm strike. Instead, the blow knocked him backward. He flew out first. Suddenly, 5 silver needles whistled in. SSSH, 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 SSSH. Black Exine spun, parried them easily with a blade. A Zhang family bodyguard stepped forward, producing a concealed weapon identical to the one used by the Huiyun cult, the Golden Lotus. With a press of his thumb at the lotus base, a poisoned needle shot forth. Black XN tilted his head to avoid the vitals, but the needle still nicked his cheek. The guard took a step back, widening the gap, and sneered. "So you're the senior who miraculously survived my poison? This time I used the ancestral formula. Its toxicity isn't even comparable. You're gonna drop dead, kid." Black Exen merely gave the bodyguard a cold, disdainful glance. In the blink of an eye, his figure flashed forward, straight toward Zhang Zhibai. He was about to land the killing blow, when the bodyguard unleashed a barrage of silver needles, forming a deadly curtain that stopped Black Xin mid-charge. Taking advantage of the distraction, Zhang Zhibai fled in panic. The bodyguard didn't hesitate. He activated a secret technique. The needles embedded in the walls erupted with toxic miasma, instantly engulfing Black Xin in a thick poisonous fog. Moments later, he collapsed motionless. "Huh, thought you were immune to poison? Guess not. You couldn't even survive my death art." The guard jeered. But before he could finish laughing, a small mud effigy on the ground cracked open. Black Xin reappeared, fully restored. He struck before the guard could react, cutting him down with a single blade. As the guard fell, disbelief filled his eyes. How could a condensation realm expert die at the hands of a mere spear induction realm kid? It turned out the Dragon King had crafted several clay effigies to act as decoys, absorbing part of the damage for him, so he wouldn't end up drenched in blood every time Black Xin got hurt. Meanwhile, Zhang Zhibai was already sprinting down the highway. He tried flagging a car, planning to call for backup and rally every assassin he could to take revenge on Black Xin. But the next instant, a palm thunder orb materialized right in front of him. Boom! A deafening explosion followed. Zhang Zhibai was blown clean off the cliff. Black Xin leapt down after him. "Wait, I'm the third young master of the Zhang family. Spare me an aisle." Before he could finish, Black Xion's blade slit his throat. In seconds, the body was cremated by searing flame. Though Black Xion had erased every trace, the Zhang family would inevitably trace the murder back to him. Conflict was now unavoidable. Still, the revenge had paid off. Among the spoils he looted from the Zhang estate were 3 precious condensation pills. Suddenly, a cell system UI popped up over his head. Ever since learning the Imperial craft arts, those little panels kept appearing in his vision. Black Xin clicked it open. A giant roulette wheel spun up. Then he selected the artifact sell option. In the next instant, every piece of junk gear he was carrying was sold. 1,054,178 yen was credited to his account. Black Xin then used the funds to kit himself out from head to toe. The crown jewel was a superior grade blade called Blood Boil. The more HP lost, the stronger its attack became. He spent 950,000, leaving a balance of just 4. Black Xin wailed, half laughing. "This shop is robbery. That sword alone cost 600k. The Dragon King only chuckled. "You dare place a blood curse on me? Think I'd let you live?" Just then, a little beast named Black Jimmy padded up to the Dragon King, reporting that there might be a lead on how to break the human's blood curse. According to his findings, Black Xion's ancestral bloodline could only cast blood curses on low-ranked monsters. The Dragon King frowned. "Then how could he curse me? I'm a god, the Dragon King." As it turned out, whenever a deity descended to the mortal realm, their cultivation was forcibly suppressed by the former emperor's divine decree. Combined with Black Xion's overwhelming will to survive, That freak accident allowed the curse to take effect. However, because Black Xion's cultivation was too low, he could only bind a tiny fraction of the Dragon King's total HP bar. Once that portion was depleted, he'd still die. Black Jimmy raised a paw and drew a glowing sigil in the air. The moment the Dragon King stepped inside, a thin crimson thread emerged from his chest. Its other end was tethered directly to Black Xion. It was the physical manifestation of the blood curse link. The Dragon King lifted his hand to sever it. When a knock came at the door, "Your Majesty, the Celestial Chancellor requests your presence." Normally, messages in the Celestial Realm were sent through message talismans, but this time a messenger spirit had come in person, a bad omen. Moments later, the Dragon King arrived at the Celestial Palace. Before her loomed the dazzling golden throne of the Emperor. The Celestial Chancellor emerged from the side hall. He informed the Dragon King that her promotion to upper deity had been rejected. Enraged, she snapped, "I gave up my domain and subordinates to join the Celestial Palace." The deal was clear. 100 years of service, then ascension. The Chancellor replied coolly, "That was a century ago. Times have changed. There are many seeking ascension now. If I honored your outdated promise, the others would riot." The Dragon King said nothing. Instead, she launched herself like a comet into a distant mountain. The entire mountain shattered into dust on impact. Black Jimmy rushed over. "Your Majesty, are you all right?" The Dragon King exhaled, her temper cooling. "Much better. Now, time to deal with that brat." Meanwhile, Black Xion, completely unaware, continued his training. After finishing his warm-up, he directly preloaded the Condensation Realm stage. A crimson vortex burst skyward. As the smoke cleared, Black Xion had successfully executed his Condensation Realm preload, his body and spirit surging with new power. After fulfilling all the requirements for the Condensation Realm, Black Xion broke through with ease. But just as he did, the system chimed in with a new timed mission: clear the hidden ruins while under the blood collapse curse, or lose 30% of your cultivation. A glowing magic array lit up beneath his feet. The next instant, he was teleported straight into a deadly trap inside the hidden ruins dungeon. As he fell, his eyes widened. The floor below was a forest of razor-sharp spikes. Thankfully, his spirit tread boots had insane traction. With a burst of mana, they latched onto the wall like magnets. He drew his short blade, deflecting a barrage of flying darts and hidden mechanisms. Then he leapt from wall to wall, flipping through the air with practiced ease. Just as he escaped the trap's final section, he looked up, only to find a massive stone golem looming ahead. Black Xion prepared to sprint past it, but suddenly his HP started bleeding out fast. The blood collapse curse had triggered. The golem seized its chance, roaring as it swung a colossal hammer down at him. But then, something unexpected happened. A giant stone hand shot out in front of him, blocking the blow completely. It turned out Black Xion had successfully preloaded the puppet arts, granting him control over stone constructs. With his HP draining fast, his attack power skyrocketed. One slash was all it took to obliterate the stone golem before him. He then summoned a massive boulder and flicked it forward with his finger, blasting open a tunnel through the stone wall. Meanwhile, deep inside a cavern, Zhang Ziqian had dragged another subordinate over, planning to offer him as a sacrifice to another god, hoping to trade another life for a condensation pill. The worker cried, "Boss, my monthly pay's only 3 grand. Now you want my life too?" That wasn't in the contract. Zhang Ziqian sneered and pulled out a labor contract. "The company's got nothing to do with you. You're just a temp hire." With that, he raised his hand to strike and begin the ritual. Suddenly, a thunderous crash. The stone gate exploded inward. Black Xion stepped out of the smoke. Well, if it isn't my ever-so-dedicated manager. Keep sacrificing people like this, and soon you'll be your own entire staff. Zhang Ziqian froze, utterly shocked that Black Xion had found the place. When he learned it was Black Xion who'd killed his brother, instead of anger, A twisted smile crept onto his face. After all, if he could kill Black Xian, the condensation pills his brother dropped would be his to claim. With that thought, he charged forward for a palm strike. But Black Xian's cultivation had skyrocketed. With a single palm, he shattered Zhang Ziqian's entire arm, sending him flying across the cave. Zhang Ziqian's body crashed down in front of the sacrificial altar. The blood pouring from his severed arm was instantly absorbed by the swirling demonic aura around the chamber. A moment later, the corpse began to slide across the stone floor, dragged into the darkness by an unseen force. Black Xian felt a chill crawl up his spine. Something terrible was awakening. He quickly pulled the terrified worker to safety, summoning a puppet hand to carry the man out of the cave. Then the air froze. A white-haired woman stepped from the shadows, clad in armor, a long sword in her grasp. Black Xian extended his spiritual sense to gauge her cultivation. But the instant he did, a backlash struck like lightning, burning his eyes. One nearly went blind. She wasn't just strong. She was on an entirely different level. With a light tap of her foot, her figure blurred. In a flash, she appeared right before him. A casual slash of her sword forced Black Xian to one knee, barely holding his ground. Seeing that Black Xian could still stand, the white-haired woman sneered and kicked again. Though Black Xian braced himself, the impact hurled him straight into the wall, scattering chunks of stone. But she didn't stop there. Gripping her sword with both hands, she gathered energy, the blade humming with blinding light. Black Xian held his stance, eyes locked on her every move, nerves taut like a drawn bow. Yet even so, the next moment a flash sliced across his chest. She was too fast for mortal eyes to follow. At that same instant, in the celestial realm, all 6 of the Dragon King's clay effigies detonated at once. The Dragon King's eyes widened. That brat's about to die. Black Xian hit the ground hard, blood spreading beneath him. The woman raised her sword high, ready to deliver the finishing blow. But Black Xian caught the strike with his blade just in time, summoning a stone puppet hand to attack from behind. The woman flipped backward, narrowly dodging the ambush. Before she could recover, Black Xian had already dashed forward. His HP was now a mere sliver. But that low HP buff sent his power through the roof, letting him clash head-on with her blade. Black Xian finally understood why he couldn't defend earlier. Her move struck first, and then completed the casting sequence. In the chaos, he hurled a palm thunder. It exploded, blasting the woman across the chamber. She hung upside down from the ceiling, charging power again. Black Xian instantly recognized that familiar technique. Without hesitation, he preloaded his counter and unlocked a new skill, Heaven's Judgment Annihilation. In the next instant, the two became streaks of light, clashing mid-air like twin beams. When the smoke cleared, the woman lay wounded on the ground, while Black Xian stood unharmed. Black Xian had already predicted her preload. He knew she would finish casting and strike at his neck, so he preloaded a defense sequence for it, blocking the lethal slash just in time. He even slipped in a countercut of his own. The woman, realizing the trick, was furious. A glowing formation suddenly appeared above her head. At the same time, a system prompt flashed. Complete your preload seals immediately or suffer divine retribution. Both of them began forming their seals at once. But at the final step, the woman's hands refused to close. Looking down, she saw herself trapped by a pair of massive stone hands. Black Xian seized the moment and completed his technique. Just as divine retribution was about to strike, she broke free with a desperate surge of strength. But she was a step too late. The heavenly punishment hit her head-on. When the smoke cleared, the woman was lying face down, completely defeated. Alas, do as you wish. Without saying another word, Black Xian swung his blade down. Yet instead of dying, her wounds instantly healed. System prompt. Blood curse engraved on Long Yin. All damage taken by Long Yin will be transferred to the Dragon King. Guess we're on the same HP bar now. Let's ascend together. With the mission complete, Black Xian was sent back to school once more. When he turned around, Black Xian saw a red-haired girl staring right at him. Sorry, do we know each other? He asked, confused. The girl bent forward with a smirk. You already forgot? We fought together a few days ago. We're bound by the same HP bar. Remember? Realization hit him. It was Long Yin, just with a new hairstyle. Wait, how did you even enroll and end up in my class? Turns out 2 days ago, Long Yin bribed the principal with gold bars to get herself transferred. Right then, the teacher cleared his throat, signaling everyone to quiet down. Homeroom teacher Old Tao announced, "All right, students, the minor tests are done. Today begins the mock combat exam. For most of you, this will be your first real battle. After years of study and cultivation, it's time to prove your worth. All examinees report to the testing field. Soon, every class gathered in their assigned areas. Each had its own combat zone, with barriers ensuring students couldn't interfere with one another. Every student would face the same monster, defeat it within 5 minutes for a perfect score. If time ran out, grades would be based on total damage dealt. If any accidents occurred, Instructor Zhou stationed at the center would step in immediately now, then. Exam starts. When you hear your name, step onto the field. Senior Class 1, Zhao Jiakong. Class 1, Guo Fanliang. Class 2, Tang Long. Class 4, Long Zaki Hanako. Step onto the field. Black Xian frowned. Wait, why are there Ingzone people here? Mu Xiao explained, assignment from the Cultivation Education Bureau. Part of the peace pact with top sections. Every cultivation high school has to host a few exchange students from the Ingzone Alliance. Oh, I see. I thought only normal schools did exchange programs. Didn't expect cultivators to copy that too. Black Xian muttered. Suddenly, Long Zaki Hanako in the arena sensed something. She snapped her head up toward Black Xian's direction. Pretty sharp instincts, he sighed under his breath. Long Yin shouted angrily. How dare you glare at my master? My underling is mine to glare at. No one else. Mu Xiao face-bombed. Bro, your relationship logic makes 0 sense. Exam begins, roared Old Tao, now summoning the exam monster. The ground cracked open, forming a swirling black vortex. A mushroom-haired man slowly rose from within. Old Tao gasped. Isn't that the Cloud-Veiled Demon Lord that the Grand Sect sealed away? You're using him as a mock exam target? The demon smirked. Still as jumpy as ever, huh? No wonder you're stuck as a PE teacher. If the demon's true body showed up here, even sealed, everyone present would be dead. That said, the exam monster is a spore-grown clone from the Demon Lord. Still condensation realm level, but weaker than the Proctor, and the arena is ringed with sealing stones. You're safe. At that moment, a student launched a talisman attack at the Cloud-Veiled Demon Lord. The demon casually dodged it. By the end of the round, he dealt no effective damage. Score, 0 points. The next examinee summoned a chunk of stone to strike the demon. 1 second later, he was slammed away by the Cloud-Veiled Demon Lord. Although his damage met the minimum, he left the field without permission. Automatic fail. Zhang Shuiwen, 61. Wu Luan, fail. Qian Jianglin, 68. What is this? This mock exam is brutal. Nobody's hit 70 yet, barely anyone's passing. Which sadistic teacher set this? Bring them out here. Mu Xiao laughed with relief. Perfect. If everyone bombs the test, then I'm not the only loser. Ha ha ha. The PE teacher snapped at Director Tao. Come on, Old Tao. This mock exam's insane. You're going to destroy the students' confidence. Director Tao snorted. If they can't even handle this difficulty, then they're the weakest batch I've ever taught. Just then, Longzaki Hanako's movement caught his eye. That girl's speed, incredible. Wait, she's heading outside the barrier. Is she forfeiting? In a flash, Longzaki Hanako leapt high into the air. The next instant, she drew her blade in one fluid motion. With a single strike, the Cloud-Veiled Demon Lord was cleaved clean into 4 pieces. The PE teacher was stunned. She just one-shot the exam boss. Damn, everyone before could barely pass. And she just scored a perfect 100. What kind of monster is that? An exchange student from Ingzong, top of class 4. Ryazaki Kaku smirked proudly. Oomph, that's just the warm-up. I prepared a little bonus round for you all. Do try your best. The announcement echoed through the arena. Next up, Lai Junhao from senior class 1. Mu Xiao gasped. Oh crap, Lai Junhao's the top of class 1. He's totally gonna ace it. Huh? Bro, what are you doing with your hands? Black Xian thought, he can't see my system well anyway. Then casually said, nothing, just swatting a mosquito. Who cares who's number 1? I only care what artifact I can pre-extract this time. The girls in the stand screamed, wah? It's young Master Lai. Go Lai. You're so cool. You'll always be number 1. Lai Junhao stood tall in the arena, smirking. Instant killing the test boss, huh? I'll prove, even among first placers, there's a hierarchy. In the next instant, the Cloud-Veiled Demon Lord respawned at full HP. Oh, think changing the question type means I can't one-shot you anymore. Lai Junhao launched his attack without hesitation. The Cloud-Veiled Demon Lord stood still, taking the full brunt of his punch. Boom! The demon was blasted hundreds of meters away. Mu Xiao shouted, no freaking way. That's power from a high school senior. Director Tao explained, he's inscribed a runic array on his arm to amplify his punches. That kid's a top candidate for Qingbei University. But why isn't he from my class? Lai Junhao declared, this punch is my admission ticket to Qingbei. I've proven, even among number 1s, there's a difference in rank. But his triumphant smile froze midair. The Cloud-Veiled Demon Lord stood before him, completely unharmed. Still standing. Did I mess up the torque transfer? Ugh, fine, one more punch. The PE teacher screamed, get out of there now. Too late. Lai Junhao had already thrown his punch. In the first second, his attack was dodged effortlessly. The next instant, he was sent flying by a single counterpunch. The PE teacher caught him midair, cushioning the impact. I redirected as much force as I could, but he's still injured inside. This exam boss is way above level. Hello, Education Bureau. We've got an over-leveled test monster. Send reinforcements. Highest tier instructors only. While the PE teacher was still on the call for help, the Cloud-Veiled Demon Lord suddenly dashed toward them at high speed. You foul beast. Think this proctor's just decoration. But before he could react, several explosive bugs shot out from behind the restrained demon. The creatures swarmed straight toward the PE teacher. A deafening blast shook the entire arena. Longzaki Hanako instantly drew her sword, ready to intervene. But Ryazaki Kaku blocked her path. Are you stupid? This bonus stage was prepared especially for you. If that over-leveled boss just happens to accidentally kill the top-ranking students, then the guaranteed admission slot to Qingbei Cultivation University will fall right into your lap. Hanako won't use such despicable tricks. I'll shred that filthy exam paper myself. No sooner had she spoken than pain surged through her entire body. Ryazaki Kaku had activated the soul seal, binding her movements. Humph. Lucky for me, the leash is still in my hands. Otherwise, Father's carefully planned operation would have been ruined. She inherited none of our Ryazaki clan's cold-blooded ruthlessness. Deep down, she's still tainted by that pathetic bloodline weakness, kindness, and honor. Father, why waste resources on her at all? On the other side, Director Tao was in disbelief. This thing's at least condensation realm, 5th layer. Who the hell approved this test boss? He immediately activated his steel barrier technique. It's too fast. My eyes can't even track it. Switching to full surround defense mode. The Cloud-Veiled Demon Lord charged straight at him like a lightning bolt. In the next instant, it threw a devastating punch. His shield shattered on impact. The demon's massive hand clamped around Director Tao's neck. Its grip tightened, veins bulging with monstrous power. Director Tao struggled, choking, vision blurring, breath fading. Suddenly, Black Xan dropped from above, his blade flashing. With one clean strike, he severed the demon's arm and pulled Director Tao free. 15 minutes earlier, Black Xian and Long Yin had already witnessed everything unfold. They saw Lai Junhao crouched in a corner, trembling uncontrollably. "Monster, monster, monster," Black Xian muttered. "He's overwhelmed by the demonic aura." Yeah, anyone below the condensation realm would be paralyzed with fear. And this demon's cultivation. Longing cut in. It's already at condensation realm, 7th layer. My body's reacting. It can feel the power of the opponent. It's telling me this one's no joke. There's a barrier around the arena. No one's getting out easily. So they're basically setting us up for a student massacre. Huh? I'm at 3rd layer condensation, but with my extended HP bar, I can push near 7th layer strength. If only I had a badass weapon right now. Wait, among the newly unlocked gear, this one's top tier, but it's only available through pre-extraction. Top tier weapons can absorb and refine other artifacts' attributes, so long as their rank is below the weapon's current tier. I can even infuse my own techniques into it, letting the weapon release my skills directly. In an instant, Black Xian pre-extracted the weapon. Yunshu Yin, Cloud Abyss Blade. I'll head down and engage. You stay up here. Something tells me this bonus stage has another bonus stage hidden inside. Long Yin frowned. All right, but seriously, how are these teachers not handling this thing yet? So, you react instinctively to strong opponents, but barely notice weak ones, huh? Those teachers are only 1st layer condensation realm. Only Old Tao is 5th layer. If Old Tao had time to set up formations, he might have held out. But in a surprise encounter like this, he's doomed. And that's exactly my specialty. Cut back to Black Xian, who severed the Cloud Veil Demon Lord's arm and saved Director Tao. The outer wall's sealed by a barrier. Students can't escape. Teachers, find a way to break it. I'll handle this bonus stage myself. What do you take me for? As a teacher, it's my duty to protect my student. Before he could finish, Director Tao vanished using a quick escape technique. The demon's severed arm began regenerating at alarming speed. Black Xian muttered, "That recovery rate, insane. Barely turned around, and it's already back. Must be a fungal-type monster. Highest regeneration among all demonic species." The Cloud Veil Demon Lord swung again. Luckily, Black Xian blocked with his blade. Any slower, and he'd have been one shot. So that's it. It's compressing demonic energy around its fists to harden them. From a distance, Old Tao shouted, "That transfer student's not actually going to die, right? Why don't you go save him yourself? You brat, you're only helping because the top student's family pulled some strings, huh? Otherwise, you'd be hiding in the bleachers like always. That kid's got guts, but there's nothing we can do. No one here can crack that problem. If we can break the barrier before that demon reaches us, we'll be damn lucky." Too brutal. He's probably going to get obliterated. But the next second, everyone froze in shock. Black Xian, who had been getting pummeled moments ago, suddenly countered, grabbing the Cloud Veil Demon Lord's fist with his bare hand. His HP was critical. Blood Boil had activated, boosting his damage by plus 99%. He slammed his fist forward, sending the demon flying. Then he triggered his skill, Dark Abyss Blade Heart Thunder. A massive explosion erupted. When the smoke cleared, the Cloud Veil Demon Lord was disintegrating at the center of the blast. The PE teacher gawked. He did it. He actually took it down. But Black Xian's eyes suddenly narrowed. Something was wrong. Up in the sky, another figure of the demon was reforming. Its entire body glowed with a haunting blue aura. The mushroom cap atop its head detached, floating upward. Then, boom! The cap launched a barrage of spores like missile shells. Hundreds of red projectiles rained down toward Black Xian. He looked up calmly, calculating his next move in the split second before impact. Countless mushroom missiles rained down like a storm. Panic spread as people screamed, "Run!" The outer barrier sealed. Head another way. At that moment, Black Xian began to charge his energy. The next second, with a sharp smack, he struck the ground and activated the stone golem shield array. A man looked up at the sky, terrified. With that coverage, there's no escape. Before he finished, the missiles were already upon them. A blinding flash filled the air. Boom! The blast sent clouds of smoke swirling. Explosions rippled through the entire arena. The man who thought he'd die stood unharmed. Every blast had been blocked by a single shield. Survivors shouted, "No way, we're alive." Who cast this defense array? The mana cost must be huge. Must be one of the top students. From above, Long Een sneered, "Still too soft. Saving classmates? The weak don't deserve saving, and those top students, they'll bite back later." She called down to Black Xin, "Everyone you save today will become an arrow aimed at you when you apply to the Cultivation University." Black Xin glanced at the sky. "My man is nearly gone, but that thing up there should be just as drained." The Yungai Demon Lord, furious that its ultimate attack was foiled, glared down. In a flash, it vanished. It reappeared behind Black Xin, throwing a punch. Luckily, Black Xin reacted fast, leaping clear just in time. As he landed, the Yungai Demon Lord swung its fist in a flash. Black Xin raised his sword to block. Catching an opening, he slashed horizontally, the blade's aura aiming straight for the demon's neck. The Yungai Demon Lord's head burst into particles and vanished. Its headless body jumped back, widening the gap. The next instant, its head began to reform. Within moments, it was whole again. Seeing this, Black Xin was shocked. So lightning-imbued strikes can cut its head easier, but if it regenerates, the core isn't in the head, it's hidden in the torso. Just then, the Yungai Demon Lord pulled out a black thread. The next second, its eyes snapped open. With a sharp whoosh, it vanished. Black Xin could feel it. Its speed had increased again. The demon flashed to his left side. Black Xin swung instantly, but missed. The blow cut air. The Yungai Demon Lord's punch hit him square in the waist. Black Xin spat blood. He was blasted dozens of meters away. Just as he steadied himself, a blur of shadow circled him at lightning speed. Black Xin defended quickly, sword and fist impacts clashing in chaos. The next moment, the Yungai Demon Lord unleashed its ultimate move, Pegasus Meteor Fist. Black Xin struggled to hold his defense. The PE teacher sighed, "Guess he's losing after all. I really thought this transfer kid could turn the tide." Director Tao kept his shield up, replying, "Told you. No chance. The gap's too wide." Still, for him to last this long against that monster, that's impressive. Purely by strength, he's top 10 in the grade. Long Een watched the barrage below. Too fast for the naked eye to follow. "Come on, use the move that beat me. What are you waiting for, master?" At that moment, Black Xin pulled back to gain distance. He realized the attacks were too fast to track, especially that sudden burst right before each strike. Even going all out, he could only block a fraction. Glancing at his HP bar, 50% left. Blood Boil active. Damage plus 150%. The timing to counterattack was perfect. He took his stance and began charging energy. The Yungai Demon Lord rushed straight at him. Black Xin raised his sword sharply. The PE teacher frowned. He's just standing there? Not moving? Did he give up? But in that instant, Black Xin thrust his blade forward, casting the celestial art Heaven's Law, Annihilation, piercing the Yungai Demon Lord clean through. The sword aura didn't fade. It shot past the PE teacher and pierced the outer barrier wall. The next second, the barrier shattered. Director Tao stared in disbelief. The barrier I struggled to dispel just broke like that? This teacher's totally useless. Maybe I should just quit. Meanwhile, as Black Xin slew the Yungai Demon Lord, a mysterious demon core engraved with runes appeared in his hand. System prompt: obtained Umbrella Shroom Demon Core. After proper cultivation, it can be controlled by a Beastmaster for combat assistance. A golden magic circle appeared in the sky. Please complete the Heaven's Law Annihilation ritual process. Black Xin formed the seals quickly, finishing the celestial art. The PE teacher exclaimed, "That last strike, I couldn't even see it." "Tao, you sure he's only top 10? Feels like he could challenge the elites. Seeing no response, he turned. Tao, hey, you alright? Soon after, Black Xian and Long Yin walked side by side down the road. He thought, now that I've reached condensed truth stage, level 9, I can start lending techniques to others. Long Yin scrolled her phone and grinned. Look, Master, you're trending. They're calling you the biggest dark horse transfer student. Some say you'll be directly recommended to the top cultivation university. Noticing Black Xian's silence, she asked, what are you doing? Ignore me again? He replied lazily, nothing. Just pay my social insurance. System prompt. Transfer 30% of your cultivation and merit to the Dragon King. Hey Xian hit confirm. Watching his progress drain away, he grumbled, seriously? No healing during battle unless I pay insurance now? He shouted, you've changed, Dragon King. Suddenly, a vast black barrier appeared in the sky, trapping both of them inside. Long Yin asked nervously, Master, what is this? Black Xian replied calmly, the Black Abyss Forbidden Domain. Once cast, nothing gets in or out, and neither side can see through. Usually used when someone wants to silence witnesses. Suddenly, a storm of black throwing knives shot toward them. Black Xian summoned a stone hand to block. But before he could react, the daggers detonated. Boom! A violent explosion filled the air with dust. Long Yin reacted quickly and leapt away. She didn't notice the patch of black substance underfoot slowly corroding her steps. Black Xian thought, small explosive arrays carved on a kunai, plus an inner abyss art to drag my disciple in impressive technique. Suddenly, Long Chi Wako dashed in from behind. Black Xian spun and blocked her attack. She slashed again, aiming at his grip. Black Xian was startled. She's using the back of the blade? Clang! His sword was knocked away. Long Chi Wako grabbed it midair and leapt back. As she landed, distance widened between them. Black Xian frowned. All that just to steal my weapon? Long Chi Wako said coldly, Father sees you as my rival for university admission. He ordered me to kill you. But I don't like that, so I'll just take your weapon back and say you're already dead. But you must leave this country and give up the entrance exam. If you show up at any school and rank high, the monks of Yin Zone will hunt you down. At that moment, Black Xian received a system prompt. Post-trigger task from the artifact Cloud Abyss Blade detected, initiating past reflection realm. In the next instant, both were engulfed in black mist and teleported away. Long Chi Wako jumped onto a tree branch, scanning the area. She looked around, puzzled. What is this place? How'd I suddenly end up here? Black Xian explained, the past reflection realm. It shows memories of the past, but we can't interfere. The sword I pre-borrowed must be linked to you, so the system dragged us in when you grabbed it. Long Chi Wako muttered, the sword I stole, it's gone. Black Xian said, the real blade should still exist somewhere inside this realm. Unless we find it, it won't return. Suddenly, distant singing echoed through the mist. Long Chi Wako frowned. That song, why does it sound familiar? They stood atop a roof, watching a young girl run toward a house. She burst through the door. Dad, I'm home. Her face froze in horror. The courtyard was littered with corpses. She called out for her family, refusing to believe what she saw. Then a man appeared. The woman asked, Senior brother, why are you wearing Yin Zone robes? His blade still dripped with blood. The girl gasped, what have you done? Time shifted to when the girl, Hua Qianhui, was in 5th grade. She was training hard. With a snap of her wrist, 3 shurikens struck 3 bullseyes. Suddenly, another weapon flew from nowhere, ricocheting off a tree and striking dead center. Hua Qianhui blinked in surprise. From above came a voice, not bad. You're better than I was at your age. The speaker was her sister, Hua Qianhui. She teased, you missed one. There's another target behind that tree. Qianhui flicked her wrist again. Qianhui gasped. She's doing it, the double throw curve technique. The blade hit the bullseye on the trunk. Qianhui immediately threw another. Both blades struck at once, piercing clean through the target. Qianhui gawked. Wait, what? You forced it through from behind. Qianhui raised her hand smugly. So, did I hit it or not? Qianhui chuckled. admitting defeat. Yeah, you passed. She looked up at the sky. It's getting late. Let's head back. Soon Hua Qianhui and the others returned home. Before she could step inside, she shouted, "Dad, I'm home." Her father patted her head fondly. "My darling daughter, how was practice today?" All targets hit, even the one behind the big tree. Suddenly, a wooden stake split into 3 pieces. She looked toward Hua Jingyi training in the distance and said, "Senior brother's blade techniques seem to have improved again." Elder sister Hua Qianyue asked, "Father, are you really going to teach him the family iron wall blade technique?" Their father stroked his chin and replied, still thinking about it, "He isn't of our bloodline, but he's been apprenticed 3 years. For what I've seen, he's polite and pure-hearted, a good lad." Years later, Hua Jingyi respectfully carried a teacup and said, "Master, please have some tea." He hefted a massive stone and declared, "Master, I don't mind the hardship. No burden is too great." Kneeling, he begged, "Master, it's my fault. Please don't punish the other brothers and sisters." The father, pleased at gaining a fine disciple, reached to pat Hua Jingyi when a blade suddenly pierced through him. Instant death. Even in death, the father couldn't understand why the disciple he trusted had betrayed him and demanded, "Why did you do this?" Hua Jingyi's expression turned malicious. "Of course, I was never one of you. I was born into Inzong. I changed my name and infiltrated your household for 6 years to learn your iron wall blade. Now that I've mastered it, I will wipe out your clan." The father coughed up blood and said, "Even if you ambushed me, there are others in the courtyard. You won't walk away unscathed." No sooner had he spoken than the poisoned Hua Qianyue staggered in and weakly called, "Father." She couldn't finish the sentence. She collapsed and died. The father cursed a Hua Jingyi, "You bastard! You poisoned my family." Hua Jingyi, uninterested in the old man's curses, withdrew the blade from his body and said coldly, "Inzong's way has always been, steal one move, destroy a house. Too bad your middle school daughter hasn't come home from school yet. I actually quite like her potential." At that moment, Hua Qianhui's voice came from outside. Hearing it, Hua Jingyi brimmed with murderous intent and smirked. "Oh, what perfect timing." The father, crawling on the floor, clutched Hua Jingyi's pant leg and begged, "Please, please spare my little girl." Hua Jingyi replied calmly, "Don't worry. Hua Qianhui's spiritual root is excellent. I'll wipe her memories and make her my daughter. Once she gets into university, I'll take her root. Then you two can be reunited." He then finished off Hua Qianhui's father. The scene folded back to the opening moment. Hua Jingyi stepped out and said, "You took your time, little junior sister. I was bored, so I killed your whole family to pass the time." Hua Qianhui flew into a rage. "I'll kill you." She threw multiple shuriken in quick succession, determined to avenge her family and slay this beast-faced senior. The blades were about to hit, but Hua Jingyi remained unperturbed. With a casual flick of his blade technique, he knocked the shuriken aside and sneered, "Omni-angle throwing style. Great at hitting blind spots. You're the best in this sect at it, but against my perfected iron wall blade, it's worthless." He hoisted Hua Qianhui by the neck and scoffed, "Useless tricks. You're no match for me." In the next second, he slammed her to the ground. The earth beneath them cracked. Looking at the unconscious girl, Hua Jingyi cast the bewilderment curse and said, "From now on, you're my daughter, Longqi Wako. I'll bring you into Inzong and train you. When the time comes, I will take your spiritual root." When Hua Qianhui awoke, all her memories were gone. She only knew the name Longqi Wako, knelt respectfully, and called Hua Jingyi father. Hua Jingyi tossed a torch, setting Hua Qianhui's home ablaze. Within moments, the roaring flames devoured everything as Hua Jingyi and Hua Qianhui walked away. Staring into the sea of fire, Longzaki Hanako finally understood the truth of her own origin. Her anger surged beyond control. Black Exine glanced at the furious Hanako and reminded softly, "Hey, you can't interfere here." But Longzaki Hanako was deaf to reason. She swung her sword and roared, "Hua Jingyi, I'll kill you. Yet the furious strike hit Hua Jingyi without leaving the slightest mark. He seemed to sense something, but Longzaki Hanako didn't exist in this timeline, so he couldn't see her. Hua Qinhui asked in confusion, "What's wrong?" Hua Jingyi replied calmly, "Nothing. Thought someone was nearby. It's just the wind. Come on, we'll have someone teach you our Eastern tongue when we get back." Longzaki Hanako watched her past self and Hua Jingyi walk away, her whole body trembling. Tears streamed down her face. "All these years, I've been calling a thief my father." A system prompt flickered before Black Excion. Scene transition detected from past domain ruins to interactive physical environment. Locate the key artifact, Cloud Abyss Conductor. They arrived at the remains of the burned house. Nothing left but rubble. Black Excion said, "This is your home as it stands now. See if there's anything you can find, maybe something worth keeping." Longzaki Hanako looked down and said, "I probed it with divine sense. There's something below, but it's buried deep." Black Exen pressed his fingers together, channeling his celestial art. "Let me dig it out for you." From beneath the rubble, a massive stone hand clenched into a fist and burst upward. As it opened, a blade and a manual rested on its palm. Longzaki Hanako gasped, "Isn't that your sword?" Black Exien picked up the blade and handed it to her. "No, it's yours." Hanako frowned. "Why? That sword clearly belongs to you." "It was left behind by your father," Black Exien replied. "It guided you back to who you truly are. It always belonged to you." "There's also this manual. Must have been your father's as well." Hanako opened it and quickly realized it was designed to counter the iron wall sword technique. But its cultivation difficulty was extreme. Decades would be needed to reach even the first layer. "I can't wait that long. Even if I could, Hua Jingyi will soon notice I've changed." Then Black Exion's voice came quietly. "You don't have to wait." Before she could react, his fingertip touched her forehead. Black Exion activated his celestial technique, transferring his power directly into her. Hanako's eyes widened as techniques and insights surged wildly into her mind. System notice: repayment process for the Breaking Force Blade technique initiated. During this period, 30% of cultivation and virtue gain will be transferred to Black Exien as interest. Longzaki Hanako stared at the sudden system interface, confused. "What is this?" Black Exien explained, "This is your system panel. Once you accept my pre-advance, you'll be able to see it. If you refuse, you can withdraw it, but you'll owe me interest." Hearing that, Hanako immediately knelt down. "Master above, please accept your disciple's bow." Black Exien smiled. "Enough, get up. From this moment, you're my disciple. I don't have much to give you yet, but I'll prepare a set of robes later." System notice: pre-advance mission for Cloud Abyss Conductor has been completed. Back in reality, Hanako looked at the mysterious rune glowing on the back of her hand. She recalled her master's words. "With this blood curse, we share the same life bar. From now on, every wound you take, I'll bear it for you. And remember, this blade has a blood boil effect. The more you're hurt, the stronger your attacks become." Suddenly, a voice snapped her out of her thoughts. "Hanako, what are you daydreaming about?" Longzaki Jiao reminded her, "Father's talking to you." The aged Hua Zhengyi sat upright and said, though Hanako showed some flaws during the exam, she corrected her mistakes, eliminated obstacles, and brought back the treasured blade for me. "As expected of my daughter, you haven't wasted my years of effort." Hanako replied coldly, "There's something I'd like to ask. Do the things you've done truly honor the words on your head?" Hua Jingyi's eyes darkened as he roared, "What do you mean? Are you questioning my righteousness after all these years?" Longzaki Hanako tied up her hair and said coldly, "So this is your idea of righteousness? Preaching benevolence and virtue every day while secretly robbing, murdering, and burning entire families?" Longzaki Jiao stood up and shouted, "Watch your mouth. Everything father did was for the sake of our sect." Hanako's voice didn't waver. "You know petty manners, but have no true justice. You cling to trivial virtue, yet lack great morality. You respect rules, but forget honor. You fear power, but never revere virtue. The weak bow, the strong plunder. Enraged, Longzaki Jiao raised his hand like a blade and struck toward her. You're defying your elders. Today I'll kill you myself. The next instant, Hanako's kick smashed into his face. With a loud crash, he broke through the wooden door and flew out of the room. Hua Jingyi rose slowly, gazing at the disciple he'd raised from childhood. So, you somehow learned the truth. Then there's no need for me to pretend anymore. He shouted guards. Longzaki Hanako has rebelled. Take her down. A group of armed men rushed in, surrounding Hanako. Their eyes burned with fury as they charged with blades drawn. Hanako sidestepped a bald man's swing with ease. Her counter kick landed squarely. He dropped dead instantly. She drew her blade and slashed another man clean in half, blood splattering across the floor. The others recoiled in terror. Everyone together. Cut her to pieces. Push her down. One good thrust, and she's done for. Hanako dashed forward, breaking through the encirclement. She leapt upward and tore straight through the roof. One man looked up in horror. Where did she go? A second later, Hanako came down, her blade cleaving him from head to toe. Another man tried a sneak attack. Hanako spun, slicing through his arm in one swift motion. Her strikes grew fiercer, each slash claiming another life. The survivor screamed, "What the hell? We can't even handle one woman. Hold the line. Don't let her break formation." One man in white sneered at the bloody scene. These fools really think numbers can win? That girl may have been picked up by the sect master and didn't inherit his talent, but her grasp of swordsmanship is among the best in the sect. Unless the three swordsmen of Ing's sect step in, she won't stop. The man in green replied, "Fair point. Then why aren't you moving? You've been watching long enough." The man in white shot back, "You think I'm an idiot? All three of us are just watching. I'm not jumping in first to die. My drawblade technique decides life and death in an instant. I'll wait for her to slip." Before long, Longzaki Hanako had already cut down dozens of warriors. By now, her breathing was heavy. So many kills had nearly drained her strength. Suddenly, the man in white vanished from sight. The next instant, he appeared before Hanako and slashed down. Meanwhile, outside the city, Long In sensed Hanako's aura fading. She asked, "You're not going to help her?" Black Xian replied, "You care about her now? I thought you'd still hate her for trapping you in that formation." Long In laughed. "Huh, that tiny array? Took me no effort to break. When I got out and couldn't find you too, I thought you defected and eloped." Black Xian clasped his hands and activated his celestial art. "Help her? Of course I'll help." A golden energy barrier instantly enveloped the entire city. Long In frowned. "This is your idea of helping? You've trapped everyone from Ing's sect inside. That includes Hua Qianwei." Black Xian grinned. "Relax. I'll tank the damage for her. With a blood boil buff, I trust Qianwei to hold her own. If things turn bad, I'll step in. Revenge only counts when no one's left standing." On the other side, Hanako lay on the ground, blood pooling beneath her. The man in white sheathed his blade with a smirk. One strike kill. Pathetic. But then, to his horror, Hanako stood back up. The man in white turned pale. "How is she still alive? I clearly sliced through her neck." He recalled the moment. At the brink of death, Longzaki Hanako had instinctively raised her blade to block the fatal strike. "That reflex saved you. Lucky girl. But this time I won't miss." With that, he launched himself forward like spring. Hanako lifted her hand, channeling the celestial art she learned from Master Black Xian. Aura manipulation. The floorboards lifted, forming a barrier before her. The man in white scoffed and slashed through the wood. "Huh, you think tricks like that can stop me?" Hanako smirked. "Didn't stop you, but it made you draw your blade early, didn't it?" She swung her sword, but he parried instantly. "Oomph. Even without the drawblade advantage, my speed's enough to counter you." But at that moment, Hanako unleashed the breaking force blade technique. Her strike pierced straight through his weapon. His eyes widened in disbelief before her blade split him in two. System notice. Breaking force blade technique, deferred task. Progress. Use 5 times in battle, 1/5. Description. The breaking force blade consumes massive spiritual energy and ignores enemy defenses upon a successful parry. Warning. Spiritual energy low. Please wait for recovery before reuse. The man in red shouted, "Hey, the weakest one just got killed." The man in green frowned. "No way. His blade's still intact. How'd she cut through the defense? It's only been days. How the hell did her cultivation rise this fast?" Back then, even Mintai's draw blade would have killed her easily. The red-clad man said, "Let's take her together. Not that I'm scared. Just think we should split the credit evenly." The green-clad man nodded, drawing his sword. "Fine. You go, I'll cover." The next instant, a slash of sword energy split the air. Hanako dodged swiftly. The red-clad man lunged in with his blade. Hanako blocked, sparks flying from the collision. The force behind his strike was overwhelming. She was blasted backward. When she steadied herself, she was already outside the building. Looking at her trembling blade, she gasped. What a heavy sword. Before she could recover, the red-clad man charged again, slashing down, but she narrowly dodged in time. The red-clad man swung another wide horizontal slash. Hanako's blade was knocked from her hands. Weaponless, she raised her palm and cast aura manipulation. The incoming strike was blocked midair, but the sheer force drove her to one knee. Another slash of sword energy tore into her waist. The red-clad man laughed. "Damn, you're brutal. Split the girl clean in half." The man in green barked, "Finish her. Take her head to be sure." The red-clad man brought his blade down, but hit nothing. Hanako had dodged at the last second. He stared in shock. How is she standing again? Her waist wound sealed before his eyes. He froze, stunned. Not only her flesh, but her torn clothes were mending too. That kind of injury healing instantly? Impossible. No condensation realm technique can do that. Hanako waved her hand. Aura manipulation. Her fallen sword flew back into her grasp. The red-clad man staggered back, panic in his eyes. What the hell? Healing that fast isn't normal. Whatever. You can't withstand my blade anyway. Once I take your head, your healing's useless. Their blades clashed again, sparks spraying wildly. From afar, the green-clad man was just as shaken. She survived a mid-split strike and can still fight. And now she's clashing one-handed? She's growing stronger mid-battle. We need to finish this. He unleashed multi-void slash, a flurry of cutting waves. The red-clad man shouted, "You crazy bastard. You'll cut me too." The green one smirked. "The sect will remember your sacrifice." The red-clad man leapt up to dodge, only to be caught midair by Hanako's aura manipulation. With a flick of her hand, she threw him into the oncoming blade wave. Blood exploded. The red-clad man was shredded by his own ally's attack. Hanako didn't hesitate. She charged the green-clad man. "You're tough," he sneered, "but in swordsmanship, I'm no." His words cut short. So was he. System notice. Breaking force blade technique, deferred task. Progress. Use 5 times in battle, February 5th. Just then, Hua Jingyi appeared atop the roof, clapping. "Excellent. Excellent. You've grown remarkably fast. As your father, I'm proud." Hanako's eyes blazed. She raised her sword and lunged at the murderer of her family. But Hua Jingyi effortlessly parried the strike. Back then, he said coldly, "I mastered the iron wall sword technique and destroyed your family before you could. Smart of me. Now this blade, art belongs to me alone." Longzaki Hanako glared furiously. "Your grin's so wide it's about to reach the back of your skull." Hua Jingyi smirked. "Oh, and what of it?" Hanako's voice dripped with rage. "Then keep that disgusting smile. When I slice your head open along that line, I don't want to cut crooked." She charged forward, slashing wildly. But every furious strike was deflected by Hua Jingyi's blade shield. "This auto-defense array," he said coldly, "only cost me a bit of mana. No matter how hard you attack, you can't harm me. The harder you swing, the more you bleed. Let's see how long you last. Failing to break through, Hanako unleashed her inherited technique, breaking force blade technique. Even that powerful slash was blocked with ease. As I thought, Huajingyi sneered. That technique only pierces once. I've been watching you. Your pattern's obvious. The next moment, Hanako was sent flying, blood scattering through the air. Meanwhile, a black cat stared into a bowl showing her projection. Hey, that new vampire of yours is about to die. It turned to the Dragon King, eyes widening. Holy crap, you're bleeding out, the Dragon King shrugged. Just a bit of blood. Don't overreact. Blood gushed like a fountain. The cat panicked. A bit. You're practically hemorrhaging. I know you're using that kid, the cat hissed. But taking all that damage for him and his disciple. You expect me to believe it's out of kindness? The Dragon King, drenched in blood, merely smiled. The will of heaven cannot be spoken. Back in battle, Huajingyi froze in disbelief. Hanako's wounds were closing again. She sneered. What's that look? Didn't you tell me to keep smiling? Huajingyi grinned darkly. This time, I'll tear you to pieces. Hanako burst forward, blade flashing. In an instant, her sword slashed across his mouth. His final thought, another pierce. Impossible. Her blade cleaved half his skull open. I told you, she hissed, I'd split that filthy grin in two. Among the ruins, Huajingyi's corpse lay cold and motionless. From afar, Longzaki Jiao watched in horror. Father's iron wall sword technique was supposed to be absolute defense. How could she possibly kill him? He was practically trembling with excitement. Doesn't matter. I'm the sect master now. Once I escape and ask the great Ing sect for help, I'll come back and slaughter you all. Hanako, Hanui, whatever your name is. As we say, so long as the mountain stands, there's always firewood to burn. But he didn't notice the black glow creeping beneath his feet. When he realized something was wrong, it was already too late. He was inside a formation. Flames erupted, swallowing him whole. System notice. The Ryazaki family of the Ing sect has been deleted. Han Huai's deferred quest is complete. Han Huai raised her hand, summoning a blaze that consumed the entire sect. Father, mother, sister, your revenge is done. From this day on, I return my true name, Hua Qianwei. Black Xian nodded in approval. Excellent work, Qianwei. System notice. 30% of gained EXP and merit transferred to Black Xian. Hua Qianhui's cultivation advanced to Condensation Realm, 9th layer. Black Xian's realm is full. Advancement to Golden Core Realm can now be prepaid. Hua Qianhui tugged at her robe. Master, my battle robe won't auto-repair anymore. Black Xian flicked a finger. That's because your aura is too low. I've unlocked the shop for you. Go ahead and pre-order a new one. She opened the interface immediately, scrolling through items. This one looks good. Same style, similar stats, but it costs 500,000 credits on deferred payment. I can't afford that. Black Xian smiled. No worries. Before you torched the Ryazaki estate, I already looted most of their treasury. Pay it with their inheritance. Suddenly, Black Xian froze. Murderous intent surged nearby. Longyin appeared, eyes blazing. Master, you're playing favorites. Why does little Junior get everything while I get nothing? Black Xian quickly raised his hands. Easy, easy. I'll pre-approve yours right now. Tell me, what do you want? Cultivation level? Gear? A new technique? Long Yin smirked greedily. Only kids choose one. I'll take them all. Instantly, Black Xian prepaid the upgrade for his Twin Feather Greatsword. System notice. Twin Feather Greatsword upgraded. Complete the deferred mission within 1 week to gain cultivation, gear, and skill boosts. Tap to teleport to the designated ruin. Soon after, Black Xian received a message from school. Time to pick up the second mock exam pass. At school, the teacher scolded, "You two just got here? Everyone else picked theirs up a week ago." The pass had a special mana seal. Activate it to teleport straight to the test site. Last mock exam, you stole the spotlight. Ranked first in the entire school. Black Xian smiled modestly. Ha, just good luck. The teacher warned, this time it's a 10-school joint exam. Lots of ruthless people out there. Stay sharp. The next morning, on a rooftop, Hua Chinwei asked, Master, will we be in the same testing zone? Black Xan replied, no idea. The zones are randomized. Stay safe. See you at the finish. He poured mana into the pass, activating the seal. A flash later, they appeared in a massive forest. So this is Ruin, Giantwood Forest? I've only seen it in the syllabus. These trees are way taller than I thought. A drone appeared overhead and announced, exam begin. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed behind him. Turning around, Black Xian saw a level 5 spirit guiding bear demon. The bear roared and slammed its paw down. Black Xian met it head-on with a punch. His fist sank deep into its gut, sending the creature flying. He chased after the bear pack. Within minutes, every demon bear lay dead. System notice, Test 1 complete. Test 2 starting soon. Remaining candidates, 72/rankings. 1. Zhang Zhishir, 200 points. 2. Black Xen, 200 points. 3. Wang Ping, 198 points. 4. Hua Qianhui, 186 points. 5. Morton, 180 points. Wang Ping from 8th High sneered, seriously? Who turns a freebie question into a death sentence? Only the top 10 of each school can take this mock exam. You guys are a disgrace to your own top 10 rankings. Right, pretty girl? Hua Qianhui ignored him and leapt away. Wang Ping used the spell, shrinking the ground to inches to chase after her. I noticed you during test 1, he said. You've got real talent. After this exam, how about joining my family sect? With your potential, you be my first disciple once I earn recruitment rights. Hua Qianhui glanced sideways, thinking this guy tried to steal my kill earlier, and now he won't shut up. So annoying. She opened her system panel. Test 2 initiated. Within the field are several Armor Breaker Bear Claws. Gather 10 to craft the Armor Breaker Spear, greatly increasing your odds of defeating the Guardian Beast.